For the first time in what seems like forever, the Eastern Conference is pretty damn good. You can argue that they might be a little top heavy, but that middle of the pack has so many good teams. And it's going to suck when we see playoff caliber teams end up in the play-in or out of the playoffs entirely because the East is just that good now. Honestly, anything from the 4th seed to the 9th seed is a complete toss-up, which made this video pretty tough to do. In this video, I'm going to give you my Eastern Conference predictions for the 2023 season. I'll go through the top 6 and also I'm going to talk about the 4 play-in teams. And again, this is just my opinion, so don't go after me too hard. Before we start though, I want to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel for more NBA content like this as the season gets underway. Also, be sure to leave a like. It makes a big difference in helping this channel grow and I would greatly appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's get right into it. Here are my 2023 Eastern Conference predictions. So let's start with the play-in teams, and taking that last play-in spot, I have the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson being the big splash is kind of underwhelming, but Brunson is still a talented player who helped the Mavericks significantly last season, especially in the playoffs. It's also a good fit with him being the primary point guard for a team that didn't really have that last year. RJ Barrett was a huge bright spot for them last year, becoming a legitimate all-star caliber player, and he should take a good leap this year. Julius Randle, on the other hand, had a very rough 2021 season, and I think that he'll have some sort of bounce back and he will be better for this team. I don't have high expectations for the Knicks, and honestly, a play-in team is where I see them peaking. At 9th, I have the Atlanta Hawks. DeJounte Murray has been a really good player in the league for a while now, but he's been going under the radar because he was in San Antonio. But now that you pair him up with Trae Young, that's a backcourt that's going to be dangerous offensively. Other than that though, I just don't see a lot with this team that makes me think they're a serious threat in the East. They were a bad defensive team last year and they didn't really do anything to address it. They also don't really have a ton of depth on the roster too, and that could be tough with the amount of teams in the East that are more deep. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray will be a fun watch all year, but the Hawks overall to me are still a play-in team. Now this one hurts me, but yeah, I have the Chicago Bulls at the 8th seed. Lonzo Ball's health is the biggest question on this team, and the updates have not been good. What he does on this team is so impactful, and not having him is a big loss. Also, they did nothing in the offseason that would raise the ceiling on this team. They're heavily relying on core continuity and also a leap from Patrick Williams, which is a huge risk. Also, it's hard to see DeMar DeRozan replicating what he did last year because that was just amazing. Again though, I don't think this team is bad, but so many teams in the East got better and they didn't, so it's hard for me to see them as a top 6 team. Maybe Lonzo comes back and that changes things, but that's the best case scenario. Unfortunately, the Bulls are a play-in team in my eyes. At 7th, I have the Toronto Raptors. This is an interesting team to me. They have proven stars in Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Scotty Barnes showed some really good things last year, and I think he takes a leap this year. They have a lot of size and they are really good defensively and they play really hard. The only thing with them is I just don't think they are a team that is any threat to the top teams in the East. They're really young and honestly still a couple of years away from being a real serious threat. They do have some legit talent though, and that's going to help this team at the minimum make the play-in. And who knows, with some luck, they can crack into the top 6. My 6th seed this season that just barely avoids the play-in is the Brooklyn Nets. There's just so much uncertainty with this team that even if the roster is really good on paper, the external factors are just too much to ignore. Kevin Durant requested a trade and then rescinded it, so I mean that's kind of good, but also as good as he's been, health has been a big concern for him because the past couple of years he's missed a decent amount of time. Kyrie Irving obviously has availability issues because of his health and other stuff. Also, he is going to be on the player option this year trying to get a new deal, so maybe that's extra motivation for him. Ben Simmons is coming off of a back surgery and a year-long absence, so how he looks is going to be a question. I do like these pieces together, but are the distractions around this team going to be too much? It's possible, and it could hinder their season, even if I like the team. For the 5th seed, I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I am really high on this team. Not necessarily as contenders, I think they're too young for that, but this will be a very good regular season team. I mean, they were a play-in team that gave the Nets problems despite being injured, so a healthy roster plus Donovan Mitchell really raises what this team can do. Darius Garland has established himself as a young star, and he's going to take another big leap this year. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are a scary front court duo that's going to be tough to handle for opponents. This is a young team full of stars that I was already high on, but the fit with Donovan Mitchell raises the possibilities for what this team can do, and I think they will make their first playoff appearance since the post-LeBron era, which is crazy. At the 4th seed, I have the Miami Heat. This is another team that didn't really do anything in the offseason other than lose PJ Tucker. I think we could see a little bit of regression from the team that was the number 1 seed and a Jimmy Butler 3 away from the finals. Jimmy is still really good, but he's not getting any younger. Bam Adebayo is an elite defender, but he needs to be more aggressive offensively. Kyle Lowry looks kind of washed, and Duncan Robinson is a complete liability when he's not making his threes. Tyler Hero is nice, but the depth overall in this roster isn't great. Again, I think the Heat are still going to be a good enough team in the regular season to win games, but I just feel like they won't be as good as they have been recently, and we'll see them take a small step back. My 3rd seed is the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't do much in the offseason, but they did get Joe Ingles, who should be a really good contributor for them when he recovers from his ACL injury. There's honestly not that much to say about this team. They really brought back a bunch of their guys and are just banking on health, which I understand. They are easily one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the 2023 championship. And having, in my opinion, the best player in the world in Giannis should help that. I don't think the Bucks are a team that heavily cares about necessarily getting the 1st seed. It seems like as long as they have their home court and their guys are all healthy, then that's all that matters to them. It's easy to believe that when you already have won a championship. But yeah, the Bucks will be really good this year. No surprises there. For the 2nd seed, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I have some questions about this team in terms of being a legit title contender, but there's no denying that this team is still going to be really good. I think that they can be a team that has a really good regular season that maybe disappoints in the playoffs. But look, Embiid has been the runner-up MVP for 2 years in a row, and he's going to continue that level of play. James Harden is the biggest question mark for me, although I do think he will still be good enough to help this team win a lot of games. One reason though that I am high on the Sixers, at least for the regular season, is Tyrese Maxey. He was really impressive last season, and I know it's preseason, but he's been balling out. I really think he's going to take a big leap this year and cement himself as one of the core pieces on this team. Title contender or not, the 76ers are going to be a damn good team this year. And finally, the number 1 seed, I have the Boston Celtics. I know they're without Ime Udoka, but this is still one of the best teams in the league with a good chance to go back to the finals and maybe win it. Gallinari is out for the year, but Malcolm Brogdon is a good piece to have off the bench that should be productive. Jason Tatum was not great in the finals, but he's one of the best players in the league and has a chance to have a great season and put himself in the MVP conversation. I also think Jaylen Brown is going to have a really good season to prove his worth on this Celtics team. Look, this roster top to bottom is just so damn good, and it's hard not to see them as the best team in the East, especially coming off of a finals appearance. And even without Ime, the Celtics are still going to be very scary this season. And there you have it. That is my Eastern Conference predictions for this 2023 season. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on my predictions. Again, this is just my opinion, so don't roast me too hard. And if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for more NBA content like this. Thank you guys as always for your continuous support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.